We all know what that sound means. The DM Gaming Morning Show is upon us. It's that time, y'all. If you're getting ready for school, you're getting ready for work, you're on your way. Well, you probably already started school if you're going to school. You could be a college student. If you're listening on your lunch break, if you're listening after work, after school, pull up a seat. It's the DM Gaming Morning Show. What's good, everybody? Andre Dorsey here with the DM Gaming Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? Oh, yo. So, where do we start off today? I want to first start by welcoming everybody to the DM Gaming Morning Show. Happy to be here. Happy that you are here. What a night of football that we had last night. I had to go back and watch the game, y'all, because I was actually live streaming while the game was going on. Very close game. Very close game. But if you watched it, you didn't watch it, spoiler alert, the Kansas City Chiefs remain undefeated. The kicker, a rookie kicker who was on the practice squad, pulled up to active roster. Technically, y'all, he kicked the game-winning field goal. It was after that they the Redskins fumbled the ball and Kansas City ran it in for a touchdown. But the kicker, we got to give him his props. For a rookie kicker coming off the practice squad, coming in, making the game-winning field goal the way that he did, in my opinion, the game-winning field goal was awesome, was phenomenal. And I guess that's a topic of discussion because one thing that sports is notorious for is people popping up out of nowhere. Guys coming up off of the practice squad that you've never heard of before, making a very large impact in football. You know, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Tom Brady, agree or disagree, you can't deny he's a winner, was a late round draft pick. You know, a guy that if you looked at, you wouldn't think, you know, that he would be an elite quarterback, you know. Didn't have the measurables, didn't have the speed, the strength, or anything. Just had the gut, the grit, and the determination to get things done. You know, you have a lot of big-time players who come from lower-ranked colleges that, you know, Division III, Division II colleges that you might not, you know, think would produce the athletes that they do. But that's the beauty of sports here in America, is that you can be a no-name. A guy that wasn't recruited very heavily out of high school ends up going to a lower division college, making a name for himself, getting an opportunity. You might make the practice squad and get called to the active roster and become an NFL superstar. Everybody's road to stardom isn't the same. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the beauty of the system. You know, even having a walk-on technically from, you know, to the NFL. Yes, you can do that. You could try out for a team, not having gone to college now. Is it very difficult? Extremely, but it can happen. You can even take the route of maybe not even getting drafted to the NFL, but going to Canadian League first and then to the NFL, or Arena League to the NFL. You know, there's so many routes to professional sports, be it NBA, MLB, hockey, baseball. You know, I said MLB already. NFL, the WNBA, you know, it's amazing the opportunities that we have here to be able to have a chance to play the sports that we love, the sports that we hold near and dear. So kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs and Coach Andy Reid, y'all. And speaking of Andy Reid, y'all, I don't know if he gets enough credit. I guess in the world that we live in now, you know, you talk so much about the Patriots and you hear more about the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. The Kansas City Chiefs, to me, is a team that people aren't talking about enough. And I think that they actually probably like it that way. You know, I think that they would rather prefer it that way. That they kind of stay somewhat in the shadows. I mean, they're not completely in the shadows, but they're definitely not just out there sitting in the limelight. But I have to digress. The NFL right now, y'all, we got a serious topic, and for that we have to pull out the hot seat. So NFL, take a seat in the hot seat.
Have a seat there and get comfortable for that.
Now, the NFL today, y'all, isn't in the hot seat for what you may think they're in the hot seat for, but rather they're in the hot seat to call attention to something that's going on, and that's injuries. Yeah, the dreaded I word, injuries. There has been a plethora of injuries going on, and let's be honest, injuries have always happened in football. They just don't get reported as much. But with the boom of social media, we're hearing about a lot more stuff that before we had no clue about. Be that as it may, there is, coaches even go to great lengths to hide injuries. Like, I mean, I get it. You don't want the competition to know. That way they can game plan against you. You want it to be a last minute thing. You want them to game plan for your player thinking he's going to play and then he's not. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, why hide it? That's the fan in me versus the athlete in me. The one that understands, that's been there, that's played college ball, that understands why, coaches don't want to just come out and say the status of a guy's injury. Some big notable injuries. Yes, even in yesterday's game with Josh Norman going down with a rib injury, and he actually wanted to play, y'all. He still wanted to get out there and play, even to be used as a decoy, because he knows, and these players understand that even if they're hurt, just by them being on the field, these teams game plan for them. With Josh Norman, you say, how can he be used as a decoy? He plays corner. Easy. Even though he's not 100%, the other team doesn't know that. So, the chances of them trying him, you see what I'm saying? It's not very slim. Therefore, he becomes a decoy. David Carr, Derek Carr, David, not David, his brother. The Raiders quarterback, Derek Carr. He's out, y'all, with a back injury. In Sunday's game, they said it was back spasm. But like I told y'all in yesterday's morning show, that listening at the coach interview and Carr's interview, you kind of get the sense that it was something more serious. And turns out it is. He has a fracture in his back. Now, the severity of it, I don't know. They said it could take from 1 week to 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I don't see him back in a week. I think that this is a 6-week or longer injury. And now the Oakland Raiders are not looking as promising as they were before without their starting quarterback. According to sources, they're not at this point in time looking to sign another quarterback. They do have EJ Manuel as their backup. And people aren't looking too good to him. But I think that EJ Manuel will take over and do a pretty good job with Oakland. Having given a second breath, in a sense, in the NFL, coming from Buffalo and stuff like that. I think, and seeing like guys like Jameis Winston, who he's played over, Jameis Winston played behind him, seeing guys like that be successful, and guys like Tyrod Taylor, who's gotten a second breath in the NFL as a sense too, starting out with Baltimore before going to Buffalo and doing what he's doing in Buffalo. So, I wouldn't be so quick to write off a quarterback. You see what I'm saying? Because you never know when that switch can get flipped and a guy can become this awesome, amazing, standout guy. I mean, you even look at Alex Smith, drafted, was first round from Utah to San Francisco. And, Colin Kaepernick uprooting him there, but, and then he ends up in Kansas City. And, I mean, wow, we're talking about Alex Smith, so definitely, and he didn't do well in San Francisco at all. He did not do well. No, but he's doing awesome here in Kansas City. So, I'm not the one that's going to write off a player. Be that as it may, we'll see how that goes. Um, Another notable injury and tragic to me, to say the least. Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings has a torn ACL and he is out for the season, and that's crushing, y'all. When you have a rookie, now Akeem Hunt is balling out, probably the best rookie running back so far. But Dalvin Cook is a very productive, very valuable running back to the Minnesota Vikings offense, and being a rookie and getting hurt in your rookie season, that's not very good. I mean, is he productive? Yeah, but bouncing back from this injury, it's gonna be tough. A lot of people don't understand an ACL injury that it's not that easy to bounce back from. Adrian Peterson had one and bounced back with over 1,000-yard season. It's phenomenal the return that he had, but everybody doesn't take that same route. Everybody doesn't bounce back like that. So it's going to be real interesting to see how he does bounce back next year from this injury. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, because that's tough being a rookie and being hurt like that, because then in your future, that's going to be a question as far as you're able to stand. But anybody notice that there seems to be a plethora of ACL injuries? Like, I don't understand. Players are bigger, faster, and stronger, but it seems like those joints and tendons aren't. I don't know. Also, Odell Beckham, dislocated finger. There's a lot of injuries, y'all. Those are to me the most notable ones. But things that can affect team season. Minnesota is definitely gonna, feel not having Dalvin Cook. Now, not to say that the running back that's going to fill his shoes isn't going to do well, but same thing with the Oakland Raiders. I think to me that's the team that needed that person that bad. You get what I'm saying? So guys, be careful out there on the field. Take care of yourself. It's because the thing about it is, they tell you this in high school and college. Play every play like it's your last, because you never know, it could be. But I think even more so on the NFL level, because at that point in time, that's your job. That's your livelihood. College, you're not making money from it. At high school, you're not making money from it. But when you make it to the NFL level, you're making money from it, even though if you're on the practice squad, So, and how many other jobs are you going to find that's going to pay what the NFL pays? Even for the practice squad, I think they make, 80,000, 800,000 a year, something like that. They make a lot of money. So be mindful of that, y'all. Take care while you out there, and do what it do, man. So in gaming news, because there's really not a lot going on in sports. We'll touch on some college football here in a minute, but in gaming news, y'all. So, not in gaming news. Let's backtrack, y'all, because I put up a poll on Twitter maybe last week. It was last week. It was one of the first Game Morning shows we did after the one. And I asked the question: do you think that Mitch Trubisky should get the green light to start? And I'm trying to find that poll, but it's here somewhere, y'all. Let me look for it. I know that the majority of people voted yes, that he should. I was trying to get exact numbers for everybody, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to find that right now. So, but anyway, we put out the poll on Twitter. First of all, that was the 28, asking who was going to win the game, Packers or Bears. 92% chose the Packers. 8% chose the Bears. And there it goes. Then we asked, should the Bears start Mitch Trubisky? 90%. It was 31 people that voted. Of that 31 votes, 90% said yes, that the Bears should start Mitch Trubisky. This was the day after the Bears lost to the Packers. 10% said no. Well, guess what? Mitch Trubisky, we know, has been named the starting quarterback. And like I said, that's just another case where, he was a top round pick. First round, second pick. There was going to come a time when he was going to be out there. That's unavoidable. But, they did pay Mike Glennon $18 million this season. So they definitely didn't have intentions on playing Trubisky this early. However, people have to understand this. If you have a veteran, and this is the coach's thing, he looks at it and says, I have a veteran quarterback. He's out there, he's making mistakes. The point is, hey, if you're going to be out there making mistakes, I can put the rookie in and he can make those mistakes while growing at the same time, So it was a tough decision. I don't think that things like that are ever easy decisions. But be that as it may, we did put up another tweet yesterday, a poll. There's 4 hours left to go vote on that. But we asked the question: Mitch will start Week 5 for the Bears? Will this be a hit or a miss? And 67% of you said it will be a hit. He will do great, while 33% said it will be a miss. Now, if I'm voting on that same poll, I can't be in between. It's either hit or a miss. I'm going to have to go with it's a hit if they use him right, okay? Because everybody seems to be, even Bears fans are looking and seeing what Deshaun Watson is doing for the Houston Texans and saying, look, we need our rookie in there. Maybe he'll spark some life into this offense. I think that it'll be a hit. I think it'll be a hit either way. And let me explain this, because I was going to say partially a hit and partially a miss. But it's going to be a hit in the sense that, at this point for the Bears, you can't go anywhere but up. Glennon was in there. They beat the Falcons, whatever, things like that. But he has so many turnovers. It's not real. It's unreal almost, But I think that it's going to be a hit because I think that he can provide that youth and that mobility that's needed almost in today's NFL in some sorts, unless you just have a awesome offensive line, you look at even the Patriots with Tom Brady and the amount of sacks that Tom Brady has already in the season, it's starting to show that offensive line and their defensive line, isn't as productive as well. And that's why they're dead last in the league in pass defense. But offensively, the Patriots need help on that offensive front, and Tom Brady's feeling the effects of that. Now, if he was a mobile quarterback, you can extend life into those plays. So I think that's where the Bears will hit with Mitch Trubisky, but they can potentially miss if they're trying to be Deshaun Watson-esque, with this whole situation, I wouldn't compare him to Deshaun Watson. To me, he's not on the level of Deshaun Watson. He is a good quarterback, but they have two different playing styles for the most part. While Mitch Trubisky, can run the football, people look and say, well, he's only played a year of college football. No, he's been at NC, North Carolina for, 3-4 years. He's just been at the backup role, and he's given the starting reins, and he did a great job. Was it a good enough job to be drafted second overall? That'll be up to him to decide. I hope that this kid is not a bust. I hope that he is a good pick from what I've seen, film at him at NC, and also, in the preseason. I think that he has the capability to do good, but like I said, only time will tell. It's going to be important for him to have some supporting cast, looking at Deshaun Watson. Yes, he's a good quarterback, but if you take away Houston's run game, you take away guys like DeAndre Hopkins, are you still looking at a great quarterback? Because, in order for a rookie, I feel like, to be successful in the NFL, you're going to need those at least two of these three things: a good offensive line, a good passing attack, and a darn good running attack to take some of the pressure off. That's why Dak Prescott did as well as he did in his rookie season, because he had a phenomenal offensive line. He had some good receivers to throw to, and he had an awesome running attack with Ezekiel Elliott. But the anchor to a rookie quarterback's success lies in his offensive line. That's why rookie quarterbacks who go to Cleveland don't fare too well, because they lack in offensive line productivity. Be that as it may, y'all have to digress. Situation. I think that he will be a hit. Not as big of a hit as people would assume. I think that he will do good. I think that he will be productive. He will win them ball games. Now, are we talking taking them to the playoffs or the Super Bowl? I don't think so. I think that the Bears do win some games. I think that Mitch does have a good season, but I'm not looking for him to come in and just swoop up, put on the cape, Super Mitchell Trubisky, and take them to the Super Bowl. I think that they will have a good season. I don't. I'm not gonna say that they can't make the playoffs. You know, I'm just not. I'm just saying I don't look for him to do all that. I look for him to come in and be productive and win them ball games. If he gets them to the playoffs, then that's great. That's awesome. That's what you drafted him for. But I'm not putting that pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So I think in the long run that he will be a hit. Now, also yesterday, y'all, something pretty funny here. So, you know, I tweeted at a couple of guys at the EA guys, you know, about being a game changer. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because it's 50-50, y'all. It is 50-50, man. And okay, no, it's getting bad, y'all. It's getting ugly. So I tweeted yesterday to Rex, EA White, Clint Oldenburg, and I said, you know, should they let me be an EA game changer? Yes or no? 13 hours left, y'all. 22 votes out of 22 votes so far. 45% said yes. 55% said no. Oh my gosh, y'all. Are y'all serious? They said no. Shots have been fired. And I think, you know, that is crazy, man. Like, and I want to know who said no and why. Because out of 22 people, more than half, so that's more than what 11 people? Probably about what, if it's 55%, maybe about 12 people said no or something to that effect. Like, why? Why no? And then two, why no, man? I mean, how many people knows DM gaming? How many people knows what we do and the things that we have and the community that we have, you know? So it did it bother me? I mean, not really, because I don't care if I'm not a game changer or not. It's just it's just like I wonder why, you know? Are people watching our channel and just saying like, no, we don't want that guy, or are people just trolling? I mean, that's a lot of trolls, you know. Are some of y'all voting no? And if so, why? You know, let me know, you know, because I look at being a game changer as getting in, trying to give community input on stuff that I feel like need to be fixed from a standpoint of me having even played, you know, college football, know the game of football, play semi-pro football and things like that. Because, you know, I look at some of the guys that are game changers now. Do they have a football background to be able to bring some of the realism to the game? You know, because, you know, I look at like the cornerback play. I was extremely happy with what they did with the cornerback play in Madden this year, as far as allowing you to jam your receivers and things like that. And that's actually some stuff that we had talked about before we ever even knew it was in the game. You know, when we used to do live streams and you see me playing corner, and, you know, I'd say all the time, man, this is unrealistic. This is unrealistic. This is unrealistic. We need to be able to jam our receivers and things like that. Force them inside, force them outside. What did Madden do? They put that into the game. Now, you know, a direction I feel like that they can take that a step further and, you know, make it even more simulation in the fact that if I'm shutting down my receiver, I should be getting points for that, because that's the telltale sign of an elite cornerback in the NFL. But I mean, just the community that we have, y'all. Just the community that we have. Anyway, Clint Oldenburg tweeted me back and basically said, let you. He said, basically telling me, dude, all you have to do is go apply. You know, and I felt kind of dumb. I mean, I didn't know that you could apply. Last time I looked into the EA Game Changer program, I was told that, you know, basically you go in and you have to, I mean, they basically, you know, I mean, you could have let them know you're interested or something, but they basically find you and see what you're doing for the community. So he told me to show my medal, and I said, in medal, I will show indeed. And, you know, just laughing it off, y'all, because y'all know what we do here at DM Gaming. Y'all know the community that we have. Y'all know the passion that we have for Madden, for football, for college football, for, you know, sports in general, because it extends further than Madden, you know, but you know the passion that we have, you know, and with Madden being the only football game on the market, you know, am I critical of EA? Yes, I'm very critical, but we deserve to be. We're the consumer. We're the ones that's buying this game year in and year out, you know. are there some things that we don't understand as as gamers being on one side and not on the side of the developer? Of course. There's things that the developers are just limited in doing. They can't make a game that plays true to life. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like they can. I still say that they can do better. Um, but I honestly feel like they can bring on more if they had more resources. I don't think because like I said, EA to me it sounds like they're lacking in resources because you have the NBA Live franchise and Madden suffered this year. Number one because of long shot, and number two because the team that works on franchise mode had helped NBA Live's franchise mode, and both of those franchise modes are empty. There's nothing there. It's basically a copy and paste from last year. So are they working on next year's franchise mode? Because looking at this year, I don't see anything. You get what I'm saying? So, but the team was tied up. EA, I would say if hire more people, get some more resources, have more hands on deck so that you can deliver people the game that needs to be out there, because um as y'all seen in the live stream yesterday, there are some serious issues, and that was just in one game. Animation tackles are still very, very present in the game. Um, to me, they haven't been fixed. Dive tackles in the game are very overpowered. Like these guys are diving 10 yards, shoestring tackle every single time. It's insane, man. The screenplays, though, offensive line is just oblivious. If you watch a screenplay in the NFL, if you go on YouTube and type in screenplays, you are not going to see the offensive linemen doing how they did. And even looking at the live stream, I caught the screen pass and I turned upfield and my offensive lineman, I wasn't even holding the sprint button, but he was just like stuck in motion kind of thing. Those things are things that should be fixed, because, even with the Ignite engine, they talked about living worlds and players being aware of each other on the field and stuff, but you don't get that sense. Now, is it better than last year? Yeah, but it's not that much better than last year. It's not a big step forward. And now I understand, they have the Frostbite engine, and that with the Frostbite engine, first they're working on graphics, and then they're gonna pretty much work more gameplay type stuff with the Frostbite. Take the benefits of that. It does take time to get used to a new engine and implement some of these things. Basically, what we're looking at is a scrap heap foundation. And if this is the foundation, then okay, we need to build. We don't need to backtrack. But the thing also is that they are able to do patches and things like that in the game. And I'm just interested to see where it's gonna go. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like a broken promise type thing. You can't keep telling people this is gonna be in the game and this is gonna be in the game and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and then the product is out there and those things aren't seen. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be critical, but I think if you don't want somebody that's gonna be critical, then you don't want a game changer. To me, that's what a game changer is. Somebody that comes in and changes the game. Somebody that's critical. Like I'm not trying to be a game changer that's gonna pat them on the back and say, whatever you want to do is fine. Oh, that's awesome. No, man. I mean, if it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't look right, I'm gonna voice my opinion. Whether they like it or not. I think that's what it is. And y'all being truthful, whether it happens or not, guess what? The DM and M's, we still gonna be here. You see what I'm saying? It's not it's not one of those things that has to happen. I mean, we've come this far just with us alone, so we're making it happen, y'all. But all in all, I really kind of thought that was pretty amusing, to say the least, that, people are saying no to that. And I just wonder, like I said, are those people who know us? Are those people who watch our channel that pay attention to our live streams and things like that? Because I don't see, unless people are saying no in the sense that they feel like maybe it'll change us, I don't know, but I digress. In other news, y'all, you got some pretty good games coming up this weekend in college football, but one game is very notable, and that is the game against Louisville and North Carolina State Wolfpack. Now, I don't know if a lot of people are even paying attention to North Carolina. Now, if you don't know, North Carolina right now is 4-1, and they're actually the second ranked team in the ACC. They're actually ranked ahead of Louisville because they're undefeated in conference play, and they're number 24 in the nation. They opened up the season against South Carolina and lost 35-28 before beating Marshall 37-20, and then Furman, which is a subdivision team, beat them 49-16, and they even beat Florida State, who right now is ranked number 12 in the nation. They beat them 27-21, and then beat Syracuse 33-25. Now I know, the Florida State game is still, at the end of the day, it's still Florida State. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, their quarterback's out, but I mean, it's still Florida State. But that game is going to be this Thursday, the 5th at 7 p.m. It's going to be on ESPN, and it is a home game for North Carolina State. Looking at the ACC standings, like I said, Clemson, of course, number one. They're 3-0 in conference, 5-0 overall. NC State is 2-0 in conference, 4-1 overall. Louisville is right behind Florida State with being 1-1 in conference play. However, Louisville is 4-1 overall. But interesting, y'all, and we'll get to that later, is Wake Forest, who faces Clemson. Wake Forest is also 4-1 overall. So those are two key games in the ACC that we are going to be paying very close attention to as well. And my question is this: is the ACC starting to take the SEC's place? Because they got some pretty good ranked teams there in the SEC. Clemson could be taking the role of Alabama, Wake Forest, Louisville taking the roles of LSU and Georgia. It's just throwing something there. But that is in the ACC Atlantic Conference. If you go to the Coastal Conference, you have Georgia Tech, who's also undefeated in conference play in 3-1. And then you have Miami, who is 1-0 in conference play and actually undefeated right now on the season. So the ACC, y'all, they got some. So far the records are looking pretty good in the ACC. So don't want to count them out. But NC State, Ryan Finley is their quarterback. He has 1,400 passing yards. He has 9 total touchdowns and a QBR of 83. And then the running back, Neum, I don't know if I'm butchering that or not. Neum Hines has 3 rushing touchdowns, 82 carries for 411 yards, and their leading receiver, Jalen Samuels, actually he's their tight end. Wow, with 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. Statistically, they're 24th in the nation in passing yards with 293 per game, as these are averages. They're also 64th in the nation in rushing yards, and they are 52nd in points against, and they're 42nd in points for with 34. Of course, we know Louisville stats are a little bit better than that, but at the same time, you can't count out NC State. That's at the bottom line, and like I said, the ACC, they're playing phenomenal football this year. It's really a toss-up. I think the same thing goes for the Wake Forest Clemson game. Clemson is a favorite. You can't count out Wake Forest, man. I would even go as far to put them on upset alert for this week, both Louisville and Clemson, because if they're not careful, these teams will sneak up on them. One thing people have to realize is this is college football. And in college football, anybody can go down at any given week. We've seen it time and time again. So that's something to be mindful of as well. But just kind of giving a little bit of insight on who NC State is, because people aren't talking about them. And I think that people should be talking about both them and Wake Forest, because they're 2 very good ball clubs. Also, a little bit of extra top 10. While I'm pulling up some more stuff, Georgia faces off against Vandy. Georgia ranked number 5 in the nation. Oklahoma, number 3 in the land, facing off against Iowa State. Oklahoma also undefeated. Penn State undefeated, facing off against Northwestern. They're number 4 in the nation. Auburn, number 12 in the land, facing off against Ole Miss, coming off of that thrashing by Alabama. Florida, number 21 in the nation, facing off against LSU. Y'all, I think LSU is going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and beat Florida. A big game in the ACC also. Miami, number 13, undefeated, facing off against a 1-2 Florida State team in Tallahassee. I don't know Miami. Miami to me hadn't really played anybody. I mean, they played an undefeated Duke team, but I don't think they've played anybody as good as Florida State, even with Florida State's injuries, y'all. I'm picking Florida State to pull the upset on number 13th ranked Miami in that one. Another notable game, TCU is ranked number 8 in the nation. And I got to cheer for the TCU Horned Frogs because they have a New Boston alum and Jeff Gladney playing cornerback out there. He went to the same high school I did. Awesome kid, good talent. And they upset Oklahoma State, and they're facing off against a good West Virginia team as well. Ohio State, number 10 in the land, 4-1, facing off against they're 4-1. They're number 10 in the nation, facing off against a 3-1 Maryland Terrapins team, who Maryland has a lot of injuries. Definitely don't have their starting quarterback. 14th ranked USC playing Oregon State, USC 4-1. And then number 1 ranked Alabama. I don't know how I feel about that number 1 ranking. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I really feel like Clemson should be ranked number 1 because how many teams? Clemson has beat 3 ranked teams in the month of September alone. And Alabama hadn't done that. I think that and while Alabama is undefeated and they put up a ton of points, I think given Clemson's strength of schedule, they should be ranked number 1 at this point. I don't think that's really fair to do that, especially coming off being national champions last year. I don't think that it's fair that they're not number 1, but whatever. Alabama's number 1, 5-0, facing off against a 4-1 Texas A&M team. Y'all, you do not want to write Texas A&M off in that ball game. I'm putting Alabama also in the hot seat, upset alert. A pretty good game in the Big Ten Conference. Number 7 Michigan, 4-0, facing off against a 3-1 Michigan State team. Rivalry games tend to bring out the best in all of us. 25th ranked UFC, 3-0, facing off against Cincinnati. Washington State jumps from 16 to number 11 in the land, so they did leapfrog Miami, which we talked about that as well, after the beating of number 5th ranked UFC. But they're facing off against a 4-1 Oregon team. I'm calling Oregon to pull. And to me, it's not really an upset. I think Oregon is a better team on paper and on the field, but it's going to be up to them to prove that and beat Washington State. Number 9th ranked Wisconsin, 4-0, facing off against a 3-2 Nebraska team. Some more notable games. Number 6 Washington, facing off against a 3-2 Cal team. Washington undefeated on the season. San Diego State, undefeated at 5-0, facing off against UNLV. San Diego State, to me, is the new Mountain West Conference style of Boise State. I mean, San Diego State has a good team, and they're undefeated. And I don't see anybody running the tables on them. So that's some of the notable games that's lined up here. Now back to the Louisville Cardinals and North Carolina State matchup. A little bit of standings here. We know Lamar Jackson balling out, 1,600 passing yards. He has a 79.8 QBR with 13 passing touchdowns. He also is the team's leading rusher at 437 yards. With 72 carries and 5 touchdowns. Y'all, that is running back numbers for this quarterback. And I don't like that. I feel like Louisville needs to find a running back to step up and carry the load and take some of this off of Lamar Jackson. When you have your starting quarterback running the ball 72 times already in the season, they've only played 5 games. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Jalen Smith, their leading wide receiver, at 379 yards, 22 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Now, as far as team stats, statistically, they are number 6 in the nation in passing offense and 365 yards a game. So they're definitely able to pass the ball. They're 33rd in the land in rushing at 210. Not a big separation there from NC State. Points for, though, they're a little bit better at 40. Not that much. I think NC State was around 34, and points against 24. So you look at the points for and the points against, and you look at them against NC State, and it's a very good matchup. What's going to determine is if they're able to stop the passing attack of Louisville. We know that Lamar Jackson can put up some serious numbers on the ground as well. But I would say if you shut down this pass attack, let him beat us with his legs. You see what I'm saying? But that's difficult to do because he's such a running talent. He is. So it's going to be a good game. You also have a game tomorrow night in college football, and my mind just went blank as to who's playing. Oh my gosh! They're not ranked teams. It's not a big time game, but it is going to be on ESPN2. So if you want to get some college football in on a Wednesday, go and check that out. So that's that. Now, yesterday we made a video, the 30 for 30, and I'm going to do this to sign us out. But it was fun making it, y'all. And I kind of wanted to do more parody type, skit type, funny type things just to add some flavor to the channel. And that way it's not just Madden, college football type stuff. You know, just something to spare it out. And also, I want to give a couple of shout outs in a sense, I guess. Tonight, y'all, I'm going to be live streaming tonight, but I'm going to be playing Fortnite with Trevor. So I'm not going to be streaming Madden tonight. Yeah, I know. Bad guy, call me what you want. We won't be streaming. I might stream Madden. I don't know. I don't think so. Trevor told me to download Fortnite, so I downloaded Fortnite. I'm going to get on it here in a little bit to kind of learn the ropes before I live stream it and get beat by Trevor. So I'm going to put it on Twitter. Do y'all want to see us? Should we stream Fortnite or should we stream Madden tonight? Leave that down in the I'm going to put that on Twitter. So go to the Twitter page at DM Gaming 5. And that's the number 5, not the letters. And vote there. I'm going to put it up here after the show. And also, y'all, today's my daughter's birthday. So, yeah. Yeah, wish her a happy birthday. So, she's 11 today, y'all. So, it's her birthday, too. So, I probably will stream, but it won't be very long, depending on what we got planned for her. But also, I want to put somebody in the spotlight, man. We always got the hot seat, but I'm putting somebody in the spotlight. That spotlight is going to go to Prospect Watcher. If you are looking for some pretty cool and not very long highlights, and that's said with a good thing, because I like highlights, but I don't want to sit around and watch highlights for like an hour or whatever. But if you're looking for an up-and-coming YouTube channel where you can go and watch highlights, recent, very updated highlights, like pretty much almost every day, go to Prospect Watcher, his YouTube channel, y'all. He does amazing highlight videos. They're very, very well done, very entertaining. They leave you wanting to see more, and he delivers on that because, like I said, he posts very frequently. He also does a Player of the Week thing there, which we had a debate about that last night. I told him he should have did the Kansas City Chiefs kicker. I mean, not the kicker from the Kansas City Chiefs. He should have did them. Prospect, you should have did him too, because that's 2 kickers now that's won the game for their teams. But I said the kicker from Washington State. And he does some players that not a lot of people are talking about too, but he did one about the running back. He actually put me up on him because I wasn't paying attention to him. Stanford's running back who rushed for, was it over 300 yards? And several times he broke Christian McCaffrey's single game rushing record, if I'm not mistaken. But go check him out on YouTube, y'all. And I'm going to leave y'all with the 30 for 30, signing off. Till next time, y'all, and God bless. What if I told you that the greatest game ever is not playable at the moment? That if you really want it back, all you have to do is click a couple of buttons. That if you, being one person, take care of this for yourself, it can happen for all of us. I'm just gonna tell you what, this ain't nobody football, but this has to be the best football game of all time. Doesn't matter, expect your PlayStation 4. It's the greatest game of all time. Yes. I'll tell you what, man. NCAA 14, man, that's blowing my mind, man.
Sure. Yeah. Football stuff. Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
If you are not watching football right now, I don't know what you are doing with your life. I really don't, Pippin.
All you have to do is follow the link in the description and go and vote, so that those of us who love the game of college